بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you, to bless your families, to honor you, to give you the best and to give us all the best in dunya and akhirah. Welcome to the family halaqah, the family weekly halaqah. Sheikh Ala is unable to be here tonight. Please make dua for him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow him to return to us inshallah next week or sooner in the best of ways, Ya Rabb, Ameen. Inshallah, we're going to begin with a recitation from the Quran just to get into a better state of mind, a better state of heart, and then we'll jump straight into the topic for tonight, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا ما أنزلت سورة فمنهم من يقول أيكم زادته هذه إيمانا فأما الذين آمنوا فزادتهم إيمانا وهم يستبشرون وأما الذين في قلوبهم مرض فزادتهم رجسا إلى رجسهم وماتوا وهم كافرون أولا يرون أنهم يفتنون في كل عام مرة أو مرتين ثم لا يتوبون ولا هم يذكرون وإذا ما أنزلت سورة نظر بعضهم إلى بعض هل يراكم من أحد ثم انصرفوا صرف الله قلوبهم بأنهم قوم لا يفقهون لقد جاءكم رسول من أنفسكم عزيز عليه ما عنتم حريص عليكم بالمؤمنين رؤوف رحيم فإن تولوا فقل حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. How is everybody doing tonight? Good? Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So inshallah tonight we're going to be speaking about, guys, Bismillah. Tonight we're going to be speaking inshallah about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, especially the way that he was with his family. To get us excited for his life and studying his life inshallah in some detail. And of course, alhamdulillah, most of us here are families. We're here as a family. So inshallah today we'll look at how the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was, especially with his family. How he was with Fatima, how he was with Ali and Hassan and Hussein, how he was with his wife Aisha, how he was with Khadija, how he was with the people around him. And I want to begin with a beautiful, beautiful narration narrated by Jadid ibn Abdullah. Jadid ibn Abdullah says, I became a Muslim at one of the most difficult times in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life. And for 7 months after becoming a Muslim, I would sit with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam almost every day, and I would see him almost every day to learn from him. You know, he's new to Islam, so he's learning about Islam. And he said, for every one of those days that he met me in those 7 months, every single time without exception, every time he saw me, he was always smiling. He was always smiling. And then he added, and before he would meet me, he would have, a smile, and then when he would meet me, he would make his smile even wider. Bigger smile. Some of us, subhanallah, we have a bad day and we look like we just saw Malak al-Maut, yeah? No smile, أعوذ بالله. Like أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Some of us, when we're having a bad day, you look into the mirror like, who's that? You tuck away like, لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he was always described as having a smile that wouldn't leave his face. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. And the poem beautifully captures this They said about Rasulullah sallam, كان صلى الله عليه وسلم متواصل الأحزان دائما التبسم. That the Prophet Muhammad sallam had so many reasons to be unhappy, so many things that wouldn't go his way, but he was always consistently smiling. Consistently smiling. Aisha radiallahu anha, his wife, she would say, when the Prophet Muhammad sallam would enter the home, so imagine one day she was asked, how was Rasulullah at home? What is he like with his family? So she said two things about Rasulullah sallam on two separate occasions. So she was asked the same question twice. How was Muhammad sallam at home? What is he like? So the first thing that she says was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at home was like the rest of humans. Meaning that he didn't, I'm the messenger. When he came into the house, he didn't put his messenger hat on. He wasn't like, okay, I'm the prophet. All right, everybody, you gotta work. Like, no, none of that. So he would sit with us, he would eat with us, he would play with us, he would be very fun to be around. And subhanAllah, she said this, she says, وَكَانَ يَخْدِمُ نَفْسَهُ. And he would always serve himself. So when he needed a cup of water, he wouldn't say, hey, you, give me a cup of water. He would himself go and he would get the cup of water. He would, as she said, he would knit his own clothing. He would knit his own clothing, right? And he would clean, كَانَ يُنَظِّفُ ثَوْبَهُ. So let's say there was a stain or a blemish, he wouldn't just throw it to his wife, you clean it. It's your job. He wouldn't do that. He himself would get up and he would do it himself. If there was a hole in his stove, he would knit it himself. And he wouldn't take advantage of the people in the house. Subhanallah. So imagine he himself led by example and served. And not only would he serve himself, and she said, وَكَانَ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ دَائِمًا فِي مِهْنَةِ أَهْلِهِ. And he was always at the service of his family. So he would serve the rest of his family. He would take the cup after Aisha drank, and he would rotate it, and she would say, what are you doing, Ya Rasulullah? He's saying, I'm looking for the place where your lips touched, so I can drink from the same spot. He used to hold the cup for Aisha, and he used to pass it to her to drink. And he would take the piece of food with his own hand. Back then they didn't have forks and spoons. He would take it with his own hand, and he would feed it directly into his wife's mouth. And he would do the same with Hassan and Hussein. That one day an Arabi, a Bedouin man, came and he saw the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ playing with Hassan and Hussein. So he's kissing Hassan, he's kissing Hussein, kissing Hassan, kissing Hussein. So the Arabi, okay, Ali, can I ask you to push back a bit, because I'm going to take my mask off, because just so I can speak better. And I would like for you, inshallah, just to be a little bit. Barakallah fikum. So he would, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would kiss Hassan, he would kiss Hussein, and he would show them all this love, beautiful love. And then this Arabi, this Bedouin man walked in, and he said, God has given me 10 kids. I have so many of them, and I never kiss any of them. He's saying it as if, subhanAllah, showing love publicly is a weakness. So the Prophet Muhammad's response was, what am I going to do if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala snatched mercy from your heart? That if you're in a position where you're not kissing your children, you're not showing that love for your children, then there's some rahmah that was taken away from your heart. The Prophet Muhammad when Fatima would walk in, his own daughter, when she would walk into the room, he would get up for her, and he would offer her his seat. Can you imagine getting up for your daughter when she walked into the room, and you offer her your seat? And she would do the same when he walked in. When he walked into a room or a gathering, she would get up and offer him her seat. And then he would tell her, stay, stay. And she would come and sit right next to him. He said, Fatima is a piece of me, and I'm a piece of her. And whoever hurts Fatima has hurt me. Can you imagine saying that about your daughter? I love her so much that if you hurt her, it's as if you've hurt me. Subhanallah. And of course, the love that he had for his family extended to even the people that were guests in the family. And some of you, most of you actually know the story of Anas ibn Malik. He came when Prophet ﷺ came to Medina. Anas's mom came to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and told him, Ya Rasulullah, I don't have much money, I don't have much to give you. Everybody else is going to give you gifts, I can't give you much. But I have my son, Anas, he can be a servant, like a servant to you. He can take care of you. and he can do the things for you, the chores here and there. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, okay, I'll take Anas on. And Anas served the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for 10 years in his own home. And he lived with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for 10 years. So one day the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was invited to have food, and he took with him Anas ibn Malik. And he had Anas sit on his right. And on the left of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he took with him two wise men like Abu Bakr and Umar. And the two wise men were sitting on the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's left. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was given the cup to drink, so he drank. And after he drank, now he had to make a decision. On his right, there's a young boy. On his left, the two wise men. The sunnah is to go from right to left. So the sunnah is to give it to the boy. But if he gives it to the boy, he might unintentionally show disrespect to the two wise men. So he turns to the, imagine this, he turns to the boy. The Prophet ﷺ himself turns to the boy and he says, أَتَأْذَنُ لِي أَنْ أَسْقِيَ الشَّيْخَيْنِ? Do you give me permission to allow the two wise men to drink? And the boy said, La, no. Can you imagine being in the Prophet's company? He asks you for permission and you say no. Imagine this was your mom. Your mom has guests. You're sitting down and she says, can we let the guests drink first? And you're like, no. What would happen to you? Honestly, what would happen? You would get in trouble for 2 years? Ali, what would happen?
Shoot to the face.
What?
Shoot to the face.
Shoot to the face? Umar is back. Yes, Umar. What would happen? Hanger, face, iron, and... sit down, sit down, sit down. Sit down, sit down. Khalas, khalas, khalas. I know his family. He's very well treated at home. Don't worry about him. I got you, I got you. His mom is like, La hawla wa la quwwata. Children's aid is going to come show up. He's fine. He just likes to, express himself in certain ways at this time of the night, especially after all the candy that you've had. May Allah bless you, Ya Rabbi Ameen. I know, but you will, inshallah. Yeah, and may Allah make it easy for all of us that have to deal with you after the candy. Anyway, so the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is told, imagine he's told by this young boy, no, I don't give you permission to allow the two wise men to drink. So what does he say? What does Rasulullah say? لَكَ هَذَا. It is your right. Go ahead and drink. And the boy drinks. And after the boy drinks, they pass the cup to the two wise men like Abu Bakr and Umar. Can you imagine? So in one narration, they asked the boy, like, why did you not want the two wise men to drink? He said, I wanted to drink from the same spot where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ touched, his lips touched, because I love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So imagine that. And imagine the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is asking for permission from a young boy, and after asking for permission from the young boy, even though the boy said no, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did not get upset, he did not get frustrated, he did none of that. He showed love and he showed respect. Another great example, and I mentioned this in the khutbah, but just to elaborate a little bit. Anas comes home one day to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He comes to the Prophet ﷺ's home, and Anas looks sad. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ looks at Anas' face and he's like, something is wrong. What's happened, Anas? What's wrong? Anas says, my brother is crying at home. I had to rush to come here on time, but my brother is crying at home. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ asked, what is making your brother cry? He said, my brother just lost a pet bird. His pet bird died. Imagine if an adult finds out that your pet bird died. What would most adults say? Ali, what would they say? You careless little child. I can't even trust you with a bird. You wanted the cat, forget that, not gonna happen. What would most parents say? Like, let's hear some more. What would, Habibi, I'm asking a specific question. ركز معايا شوية please, yeah? Umar, sit down. What would most parents say? A pet bird died, they would say, you careless child, right? What else would happen? Yes, nicely, Umar. What would happen? What else would be said? Allah yarhamu, may Allah have mercy on him. Okay, yeah. What else would be said?
Why did you forget to feed him?
Why did you forget to feed him? You poor child, right? I can't depend on you for anything, yeah? Sorry, one second. Sorry? Prepare his janazah, okay. Sit down, please. Jazakallah khair. Let's be nice. So I can give you candy at the end, yeah? Jazakumullah khair. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he heard that the pet bird died, He actually said, take me to the boy, take me to your brother. And he went to the brother, and he sat with him, and he made sure he was comfortable, and he told him poetry, Ya Aba Umayr, ma fa'ala al-nughayr. He said all those beautiful words to him, beautiful poetry, to make sure that he feels what? To make sure that he feels better, to make sure that he's calm. And what's amazing is he called him Ya Aba Umayr. You know what Aba Umayr means? Aba Umayr, usually you give a kunya, a title to someone older. So Abu Bakr, Abu Talha, you would say that. And then Umayr is a nickname. It's tasghir for Umar. So Umar becomes Umayr. It's a nickname. Zainab becomes Zuwainib. Right? Anas becomes Unais. So it's a nickname. So he gave him a title and a nickname. Titles you give to older people, and nicknames you give to younger people. So it's as if the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is saying, yes, you're young, and that's why I'm going to show you love, but also you're old and I'm going to show you respect. Even though he's only 4 years old. It's like going to a little kid and saying, all right, Mr. Abdullah, how are you doing, sir? Right? So treating them as though they're an adult, showing them respect. And that's what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did to Abu Umayr, made sure that he's comfortable, engaged him, had those beautiful poetry lines said to him, and he left him laughing, completely forgetting the fact that his pet bird died. Can you imagine? Making some time for a child who's mourning the loss of a bird. How many of us would do that? Most of us, I can imagine if someone is as busy as the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, it could be easy to say, oh, I have so many things to do, I don't have time for this, man, come on, your pet bird died. How many birds in the universe have died? Yeah, let's move on. We got things to do, we got an ummah to take care of, right? But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ showed that mercy, and he showed that love and kindness to everybody that was around him. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, actually before I do this, I'm going to get you guys to act something out. I want someone to help me. I want to volunteer. Omar, you're too much today. Nicely, nicely. Tone it down 10 steps. Yeah? Alright, let's get someone from the back, some new faces. I want someone who's a volunteer. Sisters, young sisters can volunteer as well. Okay, you're a brother on the sister's side. Okay, I don't know if that works, but sisters. Yes, come. Yeah, come. Come quickly. Alright, 2 people came. That's okay. Come, 2 people came. That's okay. You come as well. Bismillah. What's your name? Yasmin. And what's your name? Fatima. I'm going to ask you a question and you have to answer honestly. Okay? Let's say, not in your family, because your family is amazing, mashallah, both of you, Yasmin and Fatima. Imagine if someone comes, like a dad comes from a long day of work, and he asks the family, is there food in the house? And the mom says, no, there's no food in the house. What do you think the husband would do? What would the man do?
Cook some food.
He would cook some food. MashaAllah. This is not the answer I was looking for, but I'm happy to hear that. Alright, let's ask someone who's a little bit older, has seen more of life. What do you think would happen? Honest answer. Don't worry about anything. Honest answer.
I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. That's fine. May Allah bless you. You can have a seat, both of you. Alright, let's get some of the brothers. Come, ta'ala. Have a seat. Okay? And put your hand up when you want to be volunteer, and I'll choose you. Okay? Put your hand up and have a seat. So what do you think would be said? What would the dad say?
He would blame his...
Say it. You got
would blame his family.
He would blame his family. Like, what would he say? Don't look at your dad. Look at me.
Why didn't you get food?
Yeah, why didn't you cook? What's wrong with you? I'm tired. I've had a long day. I need some food, man. I need energy, right? Omar, yes, let's hear one thing from you. Yeah. What would you say?
There is no food in the house. Well, better go to the market.
Okay. Khair, inshallah. Alright. Makes sense. Jazakallah khair. Right, that's subhanallah. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he would wake up and sometimes he would come at night, jazakumullah khair. After, right? This is for those who are quiet and respectful and listening and answering questions, inshallah. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he would come back to the house, or in the morning he would wake up. He would wake up in the morning, or he would come back after a long day, and sometimes there would be no food in the house. So he would ask his family, "Oh Aisha, is there food in the house?" She would say, "No, Ya Rasulullah, there's no food in the house." And then he would say, "That's okay, I'm going to be fasting for the rest of the day." Or he himself, in one narration, when there was no food in the house and Aisha was tired, he himself actually cooked a meal, like you mentioned. He himself cooked a meal for himself and shared a little bit food with his family. So imagine, very easy going, no ruckus, no yelling, no screaming. He was always in a state of calm and in a state where he would make people around him feel very comfortable. How many of you remember the story of Anas with the message? Who remembers the story of Anas with the message? Who remembers that story? Come, yeah, ta'al. Bismillah. Tell me the story of Anas with the message. So face the...
So the Prophet gave him a message.
One second, let me turn this on, yeah.
So the Prophet gave him a message.
Yeah.
But he told him to keep a promise.
Okay.
To, like not to tell anybody, so he promised. And then when people asked him, he wouldn't tell them. And even when he grew up, he wouldn't tell them the story. I mean the message.
Excellent. But there's actually the story. That's a good story. We'll come to it. But the story that I'm looking for, you can have this, inshallah, if I can. The story that I'm looking for actually involved the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Anas being given a message to deliver. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gives Anas a message to deliver. He tells him, go and deliver this message, and he gives him a physical copy of the message. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes to deliver this message. But then what happens, subhanAllah, Anas ibn Malik goes to deliver this message, but what happens is he puts it in his pocket and he gets busy playing hide and seek with a bunch of kids. So imagine the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told him to deliver the message, and instead of delivering the message, he's playing hide and seek with a bunch of kids. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ comes out and he finds Anas in the marking, closing his eyes like this, holding his eyes like this, and counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, except it's in Arabic, right? And he's counting down, playing hide and seek. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he comes from behind and he puts his hand where Anas's hand is to close Anas's, or to basically, shut Anas's eyes from behind, jokingly, playfully, and he says to Anas in a deep voice, Anas, do you know who it is? Do you know who it is? And Anas said, I knew it was the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ because of the nice softness of his hand and the nice smell of his, presence, but I still wanted to play along. So I said, I don't know, who could it be? Who could it be? So Rasulullah ﷺ turns him around. Anas sees the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's face, remembers that he has to deliver the message, and he smiles and he runs and he delivers it. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ didn't tell him, why didn't you deliver the message? What's wrong with you? I've been waiting for you for 2 hours, 3 hours, none of that. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was kind, smiled, Anas remembered, and went to deliver the message. So what do we say when we hear the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's name? Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. There's another beautiful story involving children like Anas. One day the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is coming back from a long battle. So imagine he's tired, he's fatigued, he's hurt, he's very, very tired. And what he would do is he would come early morning after Fajr and he would enter Medina. And when he entered Medina, all of the children of Medina gathered around him, jumping up and down, saying, can we play, can we play, can we play, Ya Rasulullah? Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he sat with each and every one of them, and he took one child at a time. He would put them on the horse behind him, in front of him, 2 at a time, 3 at a time, or the camel, and he would go around until the kids are tired. Later on, when those kids got older, they would jokingly with each other, they would tease each other, and they would say, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ loved me more than he loved you. Why? Because he put me twice on the camel, and he only put you once on the camel. And then the other would say, actually, no, he loves me more than he loves you. Why? Because he put me in front of him on the camel, and he only put you behind. So they would tease each other, subhanAllah, in this way, and they would remember the beautiful moments they shared with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. How many of us remember the adhan story? The adhan story. Yeah, one of your favorites, mashallah. So I've heard from you. Let me give, come. Yeah, come. Yeah, I want to hear from you. So I want to hear what you remember from the adhan story. Remember, we're going to give candy to those who are quiet and sitting down respectfully. So what do we remember from the adhan story?
Prophet Muhammad ﷺ,
Yeah.
he asked Bilal to say the adhan.
Yeah.
And then, like these teenage boys or girls, they were
making fun of the adhan. And
Excellent.
then
So let's act it out. Let's act it out. I'm going to get you to be Bilal. Let me just put this on. I'm going to get you to be Bilal. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he just got into Mecca, and now he's entering Mecca after long years of not being home. Allah has given him victory. So he asked Bilal to get on top of the Kaaba and to do the adhan. So imagine Bilal is on top of the Kaaba. Let's get you here on top of the Kaaba. Let's pretend this is the Kaaba. Get on top of the Kaaba, and he's going to do the adhan. Get on top of it. Yeah, get on top of it. You got this. Yeah, you got this. I'll hold it for you. Don't fall, yeah? So imagine Bilal is on top of the Kaaba and he's doing the adhan. Let's do the adhan.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu
Where's the
Akbar.
energy, man? You need to wake people up, yeah?
Allahu Akbar, Allah.
That's better, but I need to take it even a step higher. Energy, where's the energy? One more.
Allah.
There you go.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Perfect. So Bilal is given the adhan, and there are 2 kids sitting on the side. In another narration, 3 kids. Not Muslims, they're from Quraysh. They're not Muslims yet. So let's get the 3 kids. So Umar will be 1, you'll be 1, and let's pick somebody else, and you'll be 1. Alright? You'll be the troublemaker. So imagine you guys are sitting, come. Right here. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told Bilal to do the adhan. Bilal is doing the adhan, and there are 3 troublemaker kids. Go ahead. What happened to the 3 troublemaker kids? What were they doing, Ya Umar? Have a seat here, or stand next to him.
They were making fun of the adhan.
So how would they make fun of the adhan? We don't make fun of the adhan as Muslims, of course, but they were not Muslims, they were making fun of the adhan. What were they doing?
They would twist the words.
Right? And they would do like a loud sound, right? So imagine Bilal is saying, Allahu Akbar,
They would do blah, blah, blah,
Allahu
blah,
Akbar.
like
What would they do?
They would cut into the adhan and say stuff
Exactly.
very loudly.
Yeah. And one of them had like a nice voice, but he was using his nice voice to kind of like make fun of Bilal. So he's like, Allah, like that, right? Like that. Now, Bilal continued, and some of the companions heard these troublemakers making fun of the adhan. So they went to Rasulullah and they told him. The Prophet Muhammad said, take me to them. And he went, and he came to them and he said, I heard you guys were saying something about the adhan. They all looked at him and they were so scared. They're like, no, we didn't say anything. Nothing. So they denied it. Imagine, they don't want to get in trouble, so we didn't do anything. The Prophet ﷺ said, it's okay. No, I actually came because I heard that your voices were nice. So he asked one of them to say the adhan out loud, or to use his voice. I want to hear your voice. So he heard his voice, and he told me, you have a very beautiful voice. He sat with him, taught him about Islam, and the rest of them. And in narration, they all became Muslim eventually, but one of them, whose name is Abi Mahdura, he became Muslim right there and then, and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught him to do the adhan, and he became the first mu'adhin of Mecca. He became the first mu'adhin of Mecca, and he was only 14 or 15 years of age. And Bilal would eventually go back to Medina, and he would become the mu'adhin there. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ showed love and respect even to the boy who was making fun of the adhan as a non-Muslim, gave him da'wah, he became Muslim, and then he assigned him to be the official mu'adhin. Jazakumullah khair. Have a seat, thank you so much. You need a hand to come down? Perfect. In another beautiful story involving the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's patience and kindness, imagine one day the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is walking through the streets of Medina, and one lady comes with a baby, and she gives the baby to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And she says, Ya Rasulullah, I just had a baby daughter. I want you to name her, and I want you to feed her a little bit of dates. So back then they would feed the little baby, the newborn baby, a little bit of dates. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ held the baby, he named the baby, and while he was getting ready to feed the baby did a number 1 on the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So the mom felt she was very nervous, she was very, again, shy. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Rasulullah, embarrassed. Ya Rasulullah, I didn't mean to, I'm so sorry. The Prophet ﷺ told her, it's okay, it's not your fault, it's okay, let the baby be. And she's like, oh, Ya Rasulullah, let me take her back. He's like, no, let her finish. Imagine, let her finish. Some of us, if you're holding a baby and a baby's doing A'udhu billah, no, none of that. The Prophet ﷺ said, let her finish. And he kept her until she was done, and then after she was done, out of respect, he gave the baby back to the mom, and he simply said, you can wash urine of your child, and that should be fine. And he gave instruction on what to do with the urine if the baby is male or if the baby is female. Another beautiful story, once the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was at the market. He was at the market, and a little girl walks to him. She grabs his hand and she starts walking away. And she points to one thing, like a candy or something nice, and she points to it. And then the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ understood that she wants to buy it. So he bought it for her and he gave it to her. And another narration, this actually happened at home. He was at his home, or he was in like another part away from the market. One little child came, pointed to Rasulullah's hand. Prophet ﷺ held the hand. The baby went all the way to the market, pointed to something nice, and the Prophet ﷺ bought it and gave it to her. Can you imagine this happening nowadays? You go to like a big uncle or an aunt in the community, you're like, excuse me, and then you hold their hand and you go and point to something that, you know, like a barbecue chicken. Like, what do you mean? Go talk to your mom. Go talk to your dad. I'm not your mom. But the Prophet ﷺ was very kind, and he accommodated and he gave everybody as much as he could. As much as he could. Another beautiful example, subhanallah, actually involves, again, speaking of like, number one, remember the story of the Arabi, the Bedouin who came to the masjid for the first time? And the Bedouin, he went to the back of the masjid, and he didn't know any better. He didn't know. So he started basically doing number one in the masjid, at the back of the masjid. All the companions got so angry and frustrated. They're like, oh my God, what are you doing? Shame on you. Do you not understand? They were going to kill him. Yeah, they were going to hurt him. Yeah, and some of them actually hit him. And some of them hit him. Yeah.
One of the narrations are that Bedouins have very bad manners.
Not all the Bedouins. Some have good manners, some not, right? Everybody, like anybody else. So subhanallah, some of them began to hit him, and they interrupted, and it was a mess. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told them, leave him, let him finish. Don't interrupt him. Imagine. And then he took him to the side after, and he simply told him, this is the house of Allah, and in the house of Allah, there are certain things that we don't do. And this is one of them. You know what the Bedouin man said? He says, I am telling you right now, Allah is my witness, that I love you, and you're the only person that I love out of all these people. And I hope that you and me go to Jannah and nobody else goes to Jannah. Imagine the Bedouin man is like, I hope you and me go to Jannah and nobody else goes to Jannah. Because he loved Rasulullah, he was so nice, everybody else was so rude. But then the Prophet Muhammad responded and he says, why are you restricting what Allah has made vast? Meaning there's enough room in Jannah for you, for me, for everybody. So inshallah we can all go to Jannah together. That's what Rasulullah said, and that's what he taught. Tamam? There's another beautiful example actually involving Al-Hasan and Hussein. One day Al-Hasan and Hussein went missing. And Rasulullah had a very long day. Very long day. So he stopped everything he was doing and he went to look for them directly. And then subhanallah, he finds them both playing behind the masjid, away in a corner, and they're playing in an area that has a lot of sand and a lot of rocks. And unfortunately, back in the desert there are little scorpions that go around, and the scorpions are very poisonous. They can actually sting you and it would be really bad. They can actually kill someone. So the Prophet Muhammad saw them playing next to an area where there were what? Where there were scorpions. So he wanted to get their attention, but he wanted to get their attention in a way that doesn't scare them or doesn't scare the scorpion either. So he started to basically recite the Quran to calm them down, and they started smiling and going towards him slowly, and he picked them both up and he cried and he says, I love these two so much, I love them more than I love myself, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them and protect all of our children. And a similar incident happened in the masjid. One day the Prophet Muhammad was on the minbar giving a khutbah, and in the middle of the khutbah he stepped down the third, the second, the first step, walked all the way to the middle of the masjid, saw the two kids, Hassan and Hussein, and they had thobes that were new, and the thobes were so long that they were dragging on the ground, and he was worried that Hassan and Hussein would trip on the ground. So he picked one on his right, picked one on his left, came back to the minbar, climbed the minbar, put one on his right, one on his left, and he said to explain to the companions, my heart could not bear the possibility of these two tripping, so I stopped the khutbah, I paused the khutbah so that I could make sure that they're safe. Imagine if this happened nowadays. If the imam stops the khutbah to go down to pick a kid up and take the kid back to the minbar. Many people are like, what's going on here? Is this a khutbah or is this like childcare? What's going on here? Right? Someone take this child. Actually, I remember once, wallah, true story. I was in a masjid, not this masjid, alhamdulillah, and I was leading salah. Allahu Akbar. And I think I was in the second rak'ah, and all I hear, like before, alhamdulillah, a bunch of kids playing like this, yeah? Like a bunch of kids playing, running around, and all I hear, one kid's sound just suddenly stops, and I hear like a launch, boom, and then boom on the ground. Of course I'm in salah, I can't look back. So I finish the salah, I look behind, and of course right after the hit, I hear the crying, ah, kids crying. I look back, and I see this kid launched to the side of the masjid. So people are like, go to him, like, what's wrong? Is everything okay? And he's like, uncle, he threw me because... Imagine, the uncle picked him up and threw him across the masjid because he was running around making too much sounds. And he's like, this is a house of Allah, not a playground, astaghfirullah. Like, it's a house of Allah, so you're gonna throw the baby, like throw the kid in the house of Allah? Can you imagine? Wallahi, it happened in a masjid, yeah, it happened, and I didn't see it with my own eyes, but I heard it with my own ears. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he didn't do that, he wouldn't do that. He would actually do the opposite. When he was in the masjid, and he would go down for sujood, sometimes one of the grandkids would come on his back to play. And in that case, he wouldn't interrupt the play, he wouldn't interrupt any of it, he would actually make the sujood long. So one day the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is in the sujood, and he stays in the sujood for so long, that some of the companions praying behind him think that he died. So they look up, and they're like, uh-oh, is the Prophet okay? And then they go back again, they look up, he's not moving. They look up again, he's not moving. But to the side, one of the grandkids was actually on the back. So finally the Prophet ﷺ goes to salam, and he does the salam, he finishes the salah, and they ask him, what happened ya Rasulullah? Why did you take so long? He said, one of the grandkids came on my back, so I wanted to give them time to play, so I increased the pray time so that they would have more play time. Can you imagine? Look at the kindness and the love of Rasulullah ﷺ. Sorry?
Didn't the grandson fall asleep on his back?
In another narration, yeah, the granddaughter fell asleep for a bit, but Allah alam how true that is. But Al-Hasan Hussein often actually played with Rasulullah ﷺ in the masjid, and Umayma and Zuwaynib actually played with Rasulullah ﷺ in the masjid, and he let them play on his back even during prayer. That sometimes Umayma would climb Rasulullah ﷺ like a tree when he's praying. Imagine, Allahu Akbar, and Umayma would start holding on to his leg. Some people would like launch the kid with his like, get out of here. Launch the kid like a soccer ball, right? But we wouldn't do that. Would be patient, let them enjoy their time, and show that love and affection to all of the children in Medina. Another great example of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the way that he is with his family is the love that he showed for Khadija radiallahu anha. We mentioned this before, but a reminder, when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ went back to Mecca, they told him, where are you going to live? Are you going to take your house back that you had with Khadija? So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ lived many years in the house with Khadija. They had all their kids in that house. They said, Ya Rasulullah, we can take that house and give it to you. Who took that house? It was actually the family of Abu Talib. And Abu Talib was not, he was very good to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, protected him. There's a question about whether he became Muslim or not. The strongest opinion is he didn't become Muslim. But Abu Talib, his family took the house of Rasulullah ﷺ, didn't ask permission, they just took it when the Prophet ﷺ went to Medina. Now the Prophet ﷺ is coming back, they tell him, your house is taken by some of your own family members, do you want us to take it back? He says, no, let them have it. Okay, do you want us to build you a big palace, or do you want to take a palace next to the Kaaba, or do you want to take Abu Sufyan's house, or do you want to take the parliament, the Nadwa, and convert it into your home? He says, no, I don't want any of that. Build me a small tent, not too far away from where Khadija is buried, so that I can go and visit her and share with her the moments of happiness and victory, like she shared with me the moments of sadness. Can you imagine? Wanting to live in a small little tent for a while when they're in Mecca, going to visit Khadija, his wife, even though she's passed away, and sharing that moment and sharing those times with her, and making dua for her. Most of us, if you're told, do you want to take your house back? We can take it by force. You'll be like, yeah, it's mine. Kick him out. Right? Do you want to build a big palace? Of course, the biggest. Right? Do you want to take over this house? Do you want to take over the Nadwa? Of course, the parliament is mine. Imagine if someone asks you, do you want to take the parliament? We can make it your house. Let's be honest. Like the White House. Imagine if someone says, do you want the White House? It's yours. How many of you say, no, I think I appreciate it, but no, I don't want that one. Thank you. Like, you would say, of course you would, right? Of course you would. Ali would say, of course, like, no, take, of course. Well, at the end, yeah? Okay, Jazakallah khair. Right? So that goes to show you, subhanallah, the patience of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would actually send gifts. He would send consistent gifts to the friends and the family of Khadija even after she passed away. He would send gifts consistently to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wife Khadija's family after she passed away, and her friends. And he would do so on a monthly basis. How many of you send gifts right now? Let's be honest, parents and children and family. How many of you send gifts consistently to your loved ones? Put your hands up if you do that. How many of you send gifts consistently to your loved ones? Okay. How many of you send gifts to the friends of your loved ones? Not many. No, I'm just saying you can put your hand up. How many of you would send gifts to the friends of your loved ones after your loved ones have passed away? Let's just be honest. Not many people, subhanAllah. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would do that. And right now, subhanAllah, when our little daughter was running around, meaning the community's daughter, one of our sisters, young sisters, were running around crying. Remember in the masjid of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, sometimes when he would be praying, there was once a time when he was praying salah and a little girl started crying in the back. So what did he do? He made his salah faster. Not faster, it doesn't make sense that it's rushed. He just made it a little faster, and they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, why are you making the salah faster? He said, my heart couldn't bear her cries and knowing that her mother is going to be worried and wants to take care of her. So I made the salah faster that she could go back to her mother and her mother wouldn't have that worry or fear in her heart. Can you imagine the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? You can have a seat. Yeah, thank you. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, imagine he cared even for the little girl and her mother who were in his congregation. Another great example of a Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the way he was with families is the story of. Thank you so much. Can I have a seat? Candy at the end, yeah? If you're nice, yeah? Can we all be nice and sit down? Jazakallah khair. Let's do it. Thank you. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was once on a journey back with Jabir ibn Abdullah. And Jabir ibn Abdullah, I want you to listen to this carefully. Jabir ibn Abdullah, he was not the richest of the companions. He was very poor. And his father had just passed away. So he was very, very poor. His father had just passed away. And he had a bunch of sisters that nobody else could take care of but him. So Jabir ibn Abdullah, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ sees him, and he sees that he's a little, stressed and a little tired. He tells him, oh Jabir, what's going on? What happened? He says, Ya Rasulullah, I am really, really struggling because I'm worried about my sisters and I'm worried about their well-being. In another battle, the Prophet ﷺ came back on the way back from one of the battles, and he told Jabir, oh Jabir, you seem a little bit better. What happened? He told him, Ya Rasulullah, alhamdulillah, Allah blessed me and I got married. He told him, Ya Jabir, did he marry someone young or did he marry someone older? He said, Ya Rasulullah, I married someone older. He said, Ya Jabir, why didn't you marry someone younger like your age so that you could, grow up together and enjoy your life together? He says, Ya Rasulullah, I married someone a little bit older so that they would take care of my sisters. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ made dua for him and said, Ya Jabir, as you were selfless, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward you and to honor you and to give you the best. So imagine the Prophet ﷺ encouraged the fact that he married someone older so that the wife would take care of Jabir's sisters. How many of us don't have that selfishness? That when we get married, we think about not just my mom and my dad, but my sisters, and wanting somebody that would work not just well with me, but would work well with the whole family. How many of us think about that? And the Prophet ﷺ encouraged that. Encouraged that when you choose a spouse that would, be good for you and good for your dunya and your akhirah, but also would be good for your family, good for the people that you love, the people that need you, the people that that you take care of, the people that need you to take care of them. Subhanallah. And how many of us remember the story of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was again praying Asr in the masjid, and then he rushed the salah a little bit faster than usual, and then he didn't do istighfar after the salah. He ran outside the masjid. So they told him, Ya Rasulullah, when he came back, what happened? Where did you go? He says, someone gave me a piece of gold to give to the poor. And I had it with me and I wanted to give it, and I remembered a family that was in need, and I didn't want to keep it in my possession for so long that somebody who has poverty or is in poverty, maybe subhanAllah, because of the fact that they don't have something to eat, they may be in that moment of weakness, they may resort to the haram. But I have something that can help them, so I rushed to give it, and when I gave it I felt better, and I came back to the masjid to do the istighfar as usual. How many of us care about other people like that? We care about the people around us like that. We think, I have something that other people might be able to benefit from, so I'm not going to wait until it's convenient for me. I'm going to actually give it immediately because they need it now. So many people in the Muslim community, what they do is they save up their sadaqah to give it in Ramadan. Brother, I want to give all my zakah and all my sadaqah on Laylatul Qadr. Why? Because I want the best reward. But what about your neighbor that's hungry? They can wait until Laylatul Qadr. What about this poverty and this? No, Habibi, Laylatul Qadr. What if Laylatul Qadr is a year away, 364 days? Yeah, subhanAllah, it's possible. They would wait until Laylatul Qadr. Yeah? And it's so interesting that we become so selfish even in giving to other people but ourselves. Subhanallah. That the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, actually, we should give, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can reward our sadaqah at any time. At any time. Remember the story of the people who came from another tribe. They ran to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, help us, help us, help us. There's a big famine and a big drought in our tribe. Ya Rasulullah, help us. So Rasulullah took everything that he had and he gave it to them. All the food, all the stuff that was in his house, gave it to them. And then he went on the mimbar and he told the companions, oh my companions, I gave all that I can, but I don't have enough. Can you help me give to them? And he took from the companions and he gave to the poor people, but it wasn't enough. So he had to go to one of the people who were not Muslim at the time, and he had to borrow in advance, like we'll pay you in the future, but we need to take whatever you can to help the people now who are going through this famine. So the man said, okay, I'll give it to you. And they agreed that they would give the stuff back to the non-Muslim man at the specific day of the specific month. But then this man came a few days earlier than the day that was agreed upon. And Umar was walking with Rasulullah in the street, and this man comes from behind and he grabs Rasulullah from behind, from his collar, to the point where Rasulullah could not breathe and his face got red. And Umar was about to turn around to knock this man out. Like, how dare you do this to Rasulullah? How dare you show that rudeness to Rasulullah? So the Prophet Muhammad held Umar by the hand and he told him, it's okay, calm down. So they both turn around and the man is yelling and screaming, I need my money back right now, give me my money back right now, you people are this and you people are that and you people are this. So Umar turns to the Prophet and says, Ya Rasulullah, give me the green lights. Give me the green light, Rasulullah said, oh Umar, you should be the one reminding me to be patient. Like, you should be telling me to be patient. I shouldn't be the one reminding you. And oh man, who's not Muslim, you could say your request in a kinder way. Umar said, Ya Rasulullah, this man is coming to say all these bad things and the money is not even due yet. There's still a lot of time before the money is due. The Prophet Muhammad says to Umar, Ya Umar, it's okay. Go get the money and add a little bit of extra for the inconvenience we have caused this man. So he gives him the money, gives him the extra. The man takes it and then he says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Umar's like, what do you mean? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. You come, you grab the Prophet Muhammad sallam, you're rude to him, you called him this and this, and then you say you want your money back, it's not even due yet. You make this whole huff and puff, and then at the end you become Muslim? After you got your money back and more? And he says, actually no, it's not about the money, I'm donating the money, you guys can have for the ummah, for the Muslims. But what happened is, I read in our tradition, in our books, that the Prophet of the end of time, he would have a quality, and that quality is, the more that you anger him, the more patient he would become, and the more kind and accommodating he would be. Can you imagine? And he said, I tested him in every other quality and it was great. He met all the other qualities and this was the last quality that I needed to test. So I made him angry on purpose to see his reaction. Can you imagine someone saying that? I'm coming to make you angry on purpose to see your reaction. Be like, let me see my reaction. Ta'ala, come here. Right? But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was so patient, so easygoing, so understanding. And he returned that attitude with more kindness and more love. There's a man who came from a long journey, faraway place, to Rasulullah ﷺ. And this is after one of the battles where Rasulullah ﷺ had a bunch of camels that were astray, that were lost from people who fled in the war. So he was taking care of them and they became his. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had around 500 or so camels at that time. One man comes, and some say 100. One man comes and says, Ya Rasulullah, you have a lot of camels. He says, yes, I do. He's like, can I have some? He's like, sure, you can have. He's like, how many? He's like, you can have 10. So he takes 10 camels. He says, Ya Rasulullah, can I have some more? He's like, sure. He takes another 10. He's like, can I have some more? Take another 10. Can I have some more? Take another 10. Can I have some more? Take another 10. So he goes with like a bunch of camels, like 50 camels. He goes back to his people. He says, guys, this man named Muhammad, he's so generous that I asked if I can have this and this and this and this, and he continued giving and giving and giving. Either he's basically so generous he doesn't fear, he's always ready to give whatever he has, or he has no idea what he's doing. And I think he's generous and I think he's kind. So the people are like, okay, we want to meet this man with our own eyes. So the whole tribe that he was part of actually went to meet Rasulullah ﷺ, and when they met Rasulullah ﷺ, they realized how amazing he was, and they became Muslim. They became Muslim. So imagine being so generous that your generosity is the reason that some people become Muslim. Right, let's do this right now. We're gonna do candy time inshallah quickly, and then finish off with one more story. Alright? But this will be for, inshallah, questions that are answered. So I would like everybody to be, inshallah, let's be as calm as we can be so we can hear everybody. Let's pick somebody that will help us identify who put their hands first. So Brother Faisal, can I have you on that side? You're going to help us decide who put their hand up first on that side. And then we'll have, let's see, yourself, you can help us inshallah. Anybody who puts their hand up first, you'll help us decide, okay? I'm talking, you, the dad, yeah. So you can stand up, Brother Faisal, you can stand up also to make it easier. So you're on that side, you're in the middle side. And then from this side we'll have, let's say you, brother. You can help us see who's going to get their hand up first on that side. And then the sisters, the sister who's already standing, Ukhti, can you help me see who puts their hand up first on that side? And then Sister Sadaf, can you help me pick whoever puts their hand up on that side? Or your daughter can do it, no problem. And then in the middle, my sister, can you do it? The first sister towards the front, in the middle. Whoever, one of the sisters who can do it. If you can stand up to tell me, yeah, thank you, perfect. To tell us who is the first sister on your side to put their hand up, okay? So I'm going to ask you the first question. And we're going to pick, we're going to start with the right side. One boy, one girl. Second question, one boy, one girl. Third question, one boy, one girl, okay? And they'll get the first picks for the chocolates and the treats. First question. We started with a story about a man who was with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for around 7 months, and he said something very special about Rasulullah ﷺ. What was his name and what did he say? Or you can answer one of the two questions. What was his name and what did he say? For anybody from this side? Children, yeah? No. Okay, there's a sister. Is anybody else from your side that put their hand up? Okay, so the sister, and is there a brother? Is there a brother? Come on guys, was anybody paying attention? Let me say the question again. There was a man who was with the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, I was with him for 7 months consistently, and he did something always. Alright, okay, so from your side here, and the sister, come. So the boy and the girl, come, Jazakumullah khair. Yeah, so what did he do?
He smiled every single day.
One second. Say it loud.
He smiled every single day he saw him.
He smiled every single day that he saw him. And what else? He would be smiling, and when he would walk in, he would smile even...
He would smile even wider.
More or wider. Excellent. You can have one. Actually, you can have one, inshallah. And then, so, what was his name? Do you remember?
Bilal?
Not Bilal. His name was... Jarir ibn Abdullah. What is his name now? Jarir ibn Abdullah. So what was interesting about his story? He said, I became what? Do you remember anything about the story? He says, I became a
Muslim.
And then I would come see the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for how long? For 7
months.
Yeah, and every time, like what he said?
He would smile.
And when he would see me, he would even smile more. Okay, perfect. You can have one of these, inshallah. Perfect. The middle one. So this is this side and the sister's side. The next question is, when Aisha was asked, how was Muhammad at home? What did she say? Okay, so he had his hand up. And what about the sister? Bring the sister. So she's picking whoever put their hand up first. Okay, Ali, come. Where's the sister? The first sister to put her hand up. Okay. Alright. So you're the first sister to put her hand up? Come. The first sister to put her hand up. And also you, sister, put your hand up as well. You put your hand up as well. Yes, you can come. Alright. So what did she say? You can hold the mic. What did she say?
He was human.
He was human? And what does she mean by that?
She meant that he was just like anyone else. He'd like sleep and eat and help, and he wouldn't like...
Excellent. So he was like a human being. He would sleep and eat, and he would enjoy with his family like anybody else. What else did she say? So you can have one? Or you can open this, Ali. What else did she say? Hold the mic, yeah? What else did she say?
He said that he would always serve himself. Like he wouldn't tell them, oh, go get me food and water.
Yeah, so he would serve himself. Excellent. And what else?
He would get up for his daughter and offer her seat at all
She didn't say that, but that did happen. But what did she say? Here, you can have one of these. Ali, what did she say?
So like the Prophet ﷺ, he
Thank
wouldn't
you.
get
Well
mad
done.
when there was no food. He'd just cook himself a meal. And
Yeah.
like, he'd pass the
وَكَانَ
water.
يَخْدِمُ نَفْسَهُ. He
And
was
when he
always...
wanted water, he'd get it himself and pass it
Excellent.
to his family.
Excellent. Well
And
done.
He would even share whatever little food he had with other
Beautiful. Excellent. You can have one. You all did great. Thank you to the sisters and thank you to Ali. Alright, last question for this side. So our brother's picking and our sister's picking. The last question for that side is, can someone tell me any of the stories today that we mentioned about the Prophet Muhammad's patience? his patience. Any of the stories that, you guys can have a seat, brother. Thank you so much. Any stories that talk about his patience? Who can tell me? Alright, so the sisters come. And what about, who is from the first brothers? The blue shirt, bench? Alright, so come. This is the brother on this side, sister on that side. Come. Perfect. Alright. There you go.
So, the first one was probably the adhan story.
Okay.
And
Tell us the adhan story.
so, it was when Bilal radiallahu anhu was standing on the Kaaba, and these kids were making fun of the adhan while he was making the adhan, and then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam confronted the children, and then some of the children, all of the children became Muslim, and
one of them was assigned to be
the Mu'adhin of Mecca.
Excellent, because he had a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
And when he confronted, we don't say confronted, but he actually sat down and he talked to them.
Yeah.
But great. Jazakallah khair. You can pick any of these, inshallah. Any of the stories that involve patience tonight?
The story of
Loud, so you can hear.
the story of when the Prophet ﷺ gave Anas a message to
The
deliver
story of
him.
Anas and the message, where he asked him to deliver the message,
And he went and got carried away while playing.
and he went and got carried away playing hide and seek.
Yeah,
Excellent.
And then the Prophet ﷺ came and he didn't yell at him, and he had patience
Excellent.
with him.
He was patient with him, didn't yell at him, and just smiled, and Anas remembered. Well done. You can have one of these, inshallah. Alright guys, jazakumullah khair. I'm going to ask all the boys, all the children, if you consider yourself a child, you can line up this way. You're going to get some candy. Boys here and girls here. One line, one single line. You have to stay distance. Stay a little distant from each other, please.